Good afternoon. I want to start off by saying Happy New Year to each and every person who may run across this video. Um, Wish everybody the best in this new year, and also come with greetings of peace. Well, this is my first one since the new year has begun, and I was just moved to share a few things or just to shine a light on some things. I don't know if other people are catching it or paying attention to it or not. But here we are. We in a new year, and I'm gonna just start like this. We get this new year, the holidays. Everybody says Happy New Year and says Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and all that, which is good. The genuineness behind it sometimes is on the up and up. But the reality of it, when after you do all these Merry Christmases and these Happy New Years, it's back to business as usual with the craziness that's going on. And, you know, there is nothing off limits right now, it don't seem. Uh, this mess about I don't know why people sort of put themselves in that situation to being caught up in these with this airlines mess that's going on, canceled flights. I have to say this because it's like I wish people would use a lot of more wisdom in a lot of their stuff, because I personally can't understand how people can even complain about anything that's happening when dealing with the airports canceling flights due to the airlines having issues. Uh, I really don't see how, after going through last year, seeing what happens around the holiday during a pandemic. And matter of fact, last year there was a certain strain going around the same time, so a lot of stuff was held up, and we had the same program this year. Well, last year, and it's even worse. And the people are stuck in airports for days and all this stuff, and it's like this is something you should have thought about before you made them trips. Don't complain about it when you already know this is the thing that's going down. I don't understand that. I mean, like, if I took a flight, I'm not taking no planes. Too much bullshit going on. I'm just be real from my standpoint. But if I was to take a trip, then I would be prepared to, because I know what's going to happen. I know what the possibility of flights getting canceled and all this other stuff. So I really couldn't have anything to say derogatory in that because I knew it was coming. So I really don't get how the news is constantly showing all these people in the airports and all this shit. I'm pretty sure everybody ain't like that. Some of them folks knew what to expect and knew what possibly happened. And you had those who still, for some reason, want to think that everything's normal, and when stuff ain't going the normal way it's used to, then they want to complain about it and all that shit. So it's like you put yourself in that situation, don't complain about it when you already know what's going on around us. So that's something that really don't make sense to me, but you know how the mainstream media does it. So I wanted to get on Giselle Maxwell. That was some recent news about her being convicted on 5 counts of 6 pertaining to child exploitation, extortion. Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend, the same man who supposedly killed himself, and even the situation with that is questionable. The guards questionable, all type of stuff. But she was not sentenced, but she was found guilty on 5 of 6 charges. But here's the deal. It's a lot of information out here that they don't still want people to figure out or even come into some type of conscious reflection on, because it's gonna hurt people's feelings when they find out certain people's names will be dropping that's dealing with all this sick shit with kids. You know, all the Epstein's houses and all this shit. This is the lady that helped maneuver a lot of young women at that time, or young girls, into uh, situations or circumstances with a lot of these dudes. And, you know, people want to be in denial about it, but the names is out there. I mean, they've been out. They drop here and there and here and there. People don't believe it or whatever. That's on them. But the thing is, she could be facing up to 60-something years. And it's almost like, is she going to roll? Is she going to kick the can, or is she going to roll on and drop some names? And, you know, right now, it's almost like it's certain if something happens to her while she's incarcerated right now, it should be obvious what the fuck is going on. But in the way things are, that she could die and everybody can still be looking crazy like ain't shit happened, or don't even, probably some people don't even give a fuck. But the reality of it is, people need to give a fuck, because these are the people who are manipulating the world, who are holding positions and are in cahoots with sick shit. You know? So we'll see how this plays out with Ghislaine Maxwell, convicted on 5 counts of 6. And even though the trial was a little shammy, you know, certain shit that was not addressed. Matter of fact, you didn't even get. The sad thing about it, this case right here should be the first case, as far as dealing with a court case, that should be on the news or whatever. It should be in your face when you look at when you're looking at the depravity around it, the fact you're dealing with kids, the fact you're dealing with all these people who, because they got money or because they got influence or because they got a title or whatever, they felt like they could do shit like this. You would think this would be, that trial would have been in the mainstream, just like the Kyle Rittenhouse shit. You know, when the white boy shot the 2 white boys in Minneapolis. You know, and then the reason why I say that, because everybody want to get into race shit with that, but man, this man killed 2 white people. So how the fuck is it white supremacy and all this other shit, man? It's ridiculous. But yet, we going into 2022, following suit with the same bullshit we left 2021 in. People don't really understand, if they don't wake up to the writing on the wall, there's no telling what may happen. As people continue to give more and more of their freedoms away to these same bums, who most likely are some of the names that are being withheld in this case. But yeah, nothing of that case was really put out there on TV, and it's like I don't get it. How would you not want to cover a case that's dealing with people and their relationships with young girls who are in high profile positions or have connections with other people? Why would you not want to put that out there? But that lets you know, once again, what the deal is. And you can barely find any thing on what's been transpiring since she's been found guilty, outside that she's trying to do an appeal and all this other stuff. So be prepared to see what happens behind this. And hold on 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay, back again. Sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, they even got an article where her brother said she won't rat out for a lighter sentence, meaning that she won't tell on a lot of the people who they continuing to hide these names and keep it quiet. Prince Andrew, I've mentioned him before, is about to go into some legal his court case in United Kingdom, because this is one of the guys who was in this little hookup between Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and these young girls. I mean, it's not no fluke. I mean, the royal family, everybody, gives give their respect and stuff away to that. But man, come on, man, when you're responsible for doing bullshit, they need to be held accountable just like everybody else. When I did shit in my life that was fucked up, I was held accountable. I had to pay the price. Even though I may have been forgiven, I may have been forgiving myself, I had to go through an accountability process to receive reconciliation. No matter whether I went to jail, whatever, however it goes, in which I have been in prison. But I went because I did some bullshit. And I owned up to it, and accountability was there. And now I'm out here, and it's been a minute since I've been out here, but just saying, why is it that you have a set of rules for one segment of society that's different than the rest? And the sad thing about it, the rest includes everybody who feel like just because they may got a little something here, they may be a little well off, a little more here or there or whatever. They feel like they can still look at themselves as being better than somebody else. And it's like, when you look up at the pyramid, at the top of the pyramid, these motherfuckers, they don't give a fuck about you or the people you think you better than. They don't care about none of that shit. But why is there one set of rules, a playbook? Why is there one set of rules for one set of people in this world who seem they could do shit and get away with it because they got money and all this other stuff? For example, if I was a millionaire and I had influence and I had a title, I had all this different shit going on, and I was involved in some crazy shit with other people who may have not been millionaires or had money like that or whatever. But yet, once everything gets blown out of proportion and shit start hitting the fan, I get a pat on the back. But everybody else that I've also been involved with who are of a different social class, they're getting time, they're getting their name and faces plastered across mainstream media to manipulate the perceptions of the individuals. But while I get a pat on the back, don't mess up again, and roll on. When you got people who lives are wasting away behind jail cells, not saying they probably don't deserve to be in a position like that because of some shit they may have done, but if we're gonna do it like that, then everybody needs to be held accountable. Don't fucking matter who the fuck you are. Why is there so much a big difference between peoples in a so-called free society? Why is there people who feel like they can get away with shit, others can't? So we're going into 2022 with the same old bullshit. So people think that's over with. I doubt it. This how it works when you have I've said it before, master manipulators doing what needs to be done for their agendas to keep people prone to hold on 1 minute. But to keep people just as disunified and just as confused and anxious and messed up right now like it is now. I mean, shit. People can say what they want to. A lot of people out here, and this is what I'm gathering and what I hear from people, not no fucking Facebook posts or no text or talking to people face to face. You know, a lot of people really are beginning to understand there's something else at play, and that's always a good thing to hear, because when you hear stuff like that, then you know that the awakening or the consciousness of people is beginning to change. Something that the elite, the cabal, however people want to call it, this they don't want. They do not want. So as we go into this year, we go in with more and more stuff dealing with the pandemic. More and more confusion. You know, they have flip-flopped and switched on so many things just the past week. You know, coming out saying that quarantine is down from 10 to 5 days. When you got a brand new variant out that's they claim is more contagious, but less lethal. But when this stuff hit, the sky was falling. The sky is falling. Head for the hills. And I'm so sick of this shit because these folks are playing some mean games around a circumstance that took a lot of people out of here. Like I said, this stuff right here is the reason why my parents are not here no more. And I stand vehemently against all this shit that these folks are saying and are doing. And I feel sorry for everybody that continue to feel like they have hope in what these folks are saying. And that's just with love. But everybody had a choice. Everybody had a mindset to do whatever they want to. Long as you keep it in your area, don't try and think like you're going to change something here or with someone else. Everybody has the opportunity to make their own choices. If they make their choices, it doesn't look good when you're sitting up trying to intimidate someone or try to kind of maneuver someone into thinking the same way. A lot of people weren't thinking this way a year ago, 5 months ago, not 2 months ago, but all of a sudden they looking at shit now like, God damn, you know, something ain't right. So as long as we got people still doing that, there is hope, because you have people that's sitting up not going with the overall bullshit that these folks is putting out. There's still a lot of protests. There's still a lot of stuff going on overseas. Latest, thousands gathered to oppose the Dutch virus measures despite ban. You know, these folks were told to stay in their houses. They said, fuck that. And so this is in the Netherlands. These folks got out there and they went about it. Because a lot of people are fucking sick and tired of this shit. These folks are, and then the whole idiotic part about this is that these folks have been lying for over the last year or so much. And they have been manipulating shit. They have been coming with discrepancies, even from the main head. I don't even want to mention that motherfucker's name because I'm so sick of hearing his ass about him and all this shit, because I'm not the only one. There's plenty more people that think the same way. This guy should not even be walking around free. He should not even be walking around. We got loved ones who are not able to walk around no more. Who are not able to even be around no more because they're gone because of some mystery shit. And this is the main character that all this stuff branches off from. But yet, you know, so, you know, that's the real anger, which comes, and anger has to be controlled, or you actually are doing no better than those who are inflicting oppression and chaos across the planet, has to be controlled. But it also you have to be true about shit. You have to state what your spirit and what your intuition is letting you know. None of this shit is coming from what somebody else said or what. So I could care less about what somebody else said. I think I've said that before. A person can come in right now and tell me they don't believe in none of this shit, and you know I respect that. I resonate on that, but I'm led by my own spirit, and that spirit comes from the divine source. Like a lot of people who are waking up and realizing that it's something different about the days that we're living in, and you're starting to realize a lot of shit that not making sense or things ain't adding up like we supposedly thought they were. That's the big deal. But like I said, we got people who are no longer here. We got people who are so in a state of fear and so in a state of confusion because of all this shit. And you know, heading into a new year, we have to be aware of this shit. These folks are already trying to continue with the mandates in certain areas where you can't go with this. You know, can't go because if you ain't got what they want you to have, then you can't produce them papers, or you can't come in here. And the court, and that's always been the question. Like, shit, when they if that is implemented across the whole country, which I'm pretty sure that if that shit tries to take off over here, like it has been going overseas, and everybody's bucking and going on over there will be a lot of animosity behind it, and ain't no telling where that animosity could lead to, far as that energy being directed and how violence, however it may be. I mean, that's just what it is, because when you're dealing with people who are fed up, who are tired of shit, who have been, some people who feel like they're directly targeted. You know, and then you got people who really don't know what the fuck they talking about. They just speaking on talking points about what so and so said on MSNBC and on CNN. I don't even know why motherfuckers even mentioning CNN anymore with the shit they got going on. You know, they got motherfuckers. They done got rid of so many people over the last 3 months. We start off with Chris Cuomo with that bullshit he was doing, which shouldn't have been no damn secret. Should have been obvious that he was going to help his fucking brother. Just like his brother was always on CNN, you know, during last year, speaking all that shit about what New York going through and all this other stuff. Like New York was the only city that was getting hit hard. I mean, they have more people than other cities. So, you know, the unfortunate thing about it, a lot of people were out of here. And it's something that I want to get in on that. But I'm going to leave that alone to another day. Then you got this guy who was, what was his name? Salibi. Let me get his name right. Because this is the part about society. CNN, Rick Salibi. And this is one of the producers of one of CNN's main propaganda, one of their main propaganda characters, Jake Tapper. You know, so if you're not caught up on the propaganda at Fox with one of them bums, you caught up with the propaganda on CNN with one of these bums, and he is one of them. So Jake Tapper's producer, who did some sick shit, you know, which involved a woman and her 15, 14-year-old daughter. Some of the shit that was said, and it was fucked up to a point that CNN fired him. So it's almost like, how could anybody take any of this shit that they talking about? These motherfuckers running around, they doing shit just for views. They doing shit just to get certain political things accomplished. Hell, even one of the guys, and this is the most ironic, moronic shit I ever heard of. How do you have a guy and hold on 1 minute, and I'm coming down off a cold, so bear with me. That's why I'm coughing. Now, how do you have a motherfucker sitting up with the ability to judge or give out legal and legal warnings and advice and all this shit? And this is the guy on Jeffrey Toobin. And this is one of CNN's mouthpieces. How do you have a motherfucker over here who got the audacity to speak out against any fucking thing, and your dumb ass got caught on Zoom jacking off? And this was last year. No, this was this year in June. But yet this motherfucker, they brought him back after they suspended him. And then how do you sit up and you give this motherfucker any type of iotas to try and give any type of legal advice? Or fuck out of here, sicko. Motherfucker don't even know. What was he jacking off to? Some kids? Because that's what it looked like is going on there. So people continue to listen to this shit, the MSNBC, you know, I'm sad to say it, but black people from which I'm amongst need to understand that a lot of these people that we want to give credit to just because they're black and they're journalists and they done made it out of the ghetto or whatever and got a good job, it doesn't make a difference when the job is to continue to promote agendas and enslavement that motherfuckers don't even want to acknowledge is really going on. And the enslavement is financial enslavement, political enslavement, all this other shit that's going on, and eventually it'll be physical enslavement again, and they're already doing that shit in Australia. If motherfuckers don't believe that, all they gotta do is look up Australia and what the fuck's going on over there. How the fuck can you lock down a whole fucking country and have them all in their houses, all free willy-nilly, nobody griping about nothing, just, you know, of course people are saying shit, and they're saying what everybody wants to hear or thinking, but and the way shit is going, we're gonna need more than people saying shit that's what's everybody thinking. Gonna need people to really be calling the shit out and mobilizing as a unit. You know, standing in solidarity. So over here, the basic thing over here in this country, being in, you know, still got a lot of inconsistencies, still got a lot of stuff that we not really sure what will happen as the days go by, because shit changed so fucking much. But if the shit takes a turn for the worse, far as in tyranny, our people over here gonna stand up against that shit. Or our people going to go the same route as Nazi Germany, communist Soviet Union, fascist Italy, you know, Mussolini and all that. You know, the same folks that is always thrown in our face that we were fighting against and that we represented democracy all over the globe. But yet, as a black person, you know, you was going through a lot of hell in this own country, in your own country, and other people who are considered minority weren't receiving that same democratic treatment that they claim they were fighting for all over the globe. But the people, these groups and these entities that they were fighting against, whether it was the Nazi party, whether it was the fucking fascist Italian party, or the Communist Party, however motherfucker want to look at it, socialism or whatever that shit. All of it is a lot of bullshit to keep people confused on what it is. If your ass is doing shit to a point where you're infringing on other people's will, meaning you're forcing shit on people, no matter what the fuck you call that, that is not fucking democratic. So all these folks that that were up under these regimes, that's how this shit started. That's how it started. You think Hitler came up by just because he was an intelligent person? Because he was not intelligent. He was a speaker, but don't you know that Hitler had backers? He had people funding his shit. He had people funding that. He had propaganda. He had all that shit to get everybody in Germany behind that bullshit. To a point where when they were doing what they were doing against those they called Jews, against those they called inferior to them, without any regard to life, without any regard to a person's sovereignty, people followed that shit, and you see what was the end results of it. Even though you had, the war, and you had America, you had the Allies, and the crazy thing about it, you had America, you had communist Soviet Union under Stalin, going at it to get another fascist person out, so that they can set up their own fascist shit, or their own totalitarian or our own tyrannical shit. So it's almost like, it's almost like a black eye to those who serve, man. And it's like, I hate saying this shit because I have, my dad served. I know people that have served. At one time, I wanted to serve. But the stuff that's going on has been going on, just been too questionable to even take part or even want to support anything that's dealing with shit like that. So we got tyranny that's already rearing its head in New York, Chicago, Boston, different areas where they won't allow you to do certain shit. That's tyranny. It's not no mandate. It's not none of that shit. That is fucking tyranny, period. And the reason why I say that, and I'm going to go ahead and mention this guy's name. Fuck it. But the reason why I say that, and this is my ultimatum. If a person wants to argue that it's no tyranny or nothing going on or whatever, that's fine. I respect your viewpoint, but respect mine. If government or the so-called fucked up ass leaders that's out here arguing over bullshit that don't really add up to a hill of beans, they're still out here complaining and talking about shit that fuck out of here. If these motherfuckers, if people cannot, and this is even to the preachers, to the rabbis, to the religious community, the political community, however you want to go, the social community, all that. If individuals cannot step up and explain why Anthony Fauci has been given a pass to lie in front of Congress numerous times about the basics of the gain and function that was ultimately contradicted by the same organization he's a part of. Facts, not no bullshit. If nobody can seem to call that shit out, not only that, but also this man was doing shit with animals and everything. They just was fucking over everything. It was messing animals up, and then they using taxpayer money for the gain and function shit. If you can't have not one motherfucker to step up and say, why the fuck are we being led and guided by someone who, for one, could ultimately be a part of the reason why everything that is impacting this planet right now is going on? Why we can't get one person to admit that shit and say it loud and clear so motherfuckers can understand that, then there's nothing else to talk about. I can give shits about what these motherfuckers talk about. That's for real. Like I said, people are gone, and it's like each day I'm more content and joyful as when I hear more and more people waking up, and it takes the sadness away from what people the people that you've lost, especially with me, people I've lost. I feel better after that when I see more and more people waking up, because that lets me know that the people who are not here no more, that eventually the shit that led up to the reason why they're not here is soon will be revealed for what the fuck it truly is. But this is going to be my ending statement, and this is to bring in the new year 2022 with all fucking love and respect for everybody. But this got to be said. And you have people out here trying to entice people to do shit against their will. I mean, if you're a person that's for the jab or against the jab, it's still not your place to influence anybody else or try and force anybody to make a decision based on you. They have their own choice and right to do whatever the fuck they want to do when it comes to that shit. But like I said, all these fake ass politicians and these lying ass folks that's in every little aspect of society, whether it be the religious community, all these folks that's sitting up here sugarcoating this stuff and being in denial and acting like they don't see it, the elephant in the room, when the elephant is damn near, it ain't even an elephant, it's a woolly mammoth. So not only are you seeing an elephant damn near look like an elephant, but it's a woolly mammoth, something that's extinct. And I remember they said something about they were gonna clone one, and that was a couple of months ago. But not to get off subject. If you can't tell people why this man Anthony Fauci, Lord Fauci, is been given a pass by Congress and the United States government, as well as every other auxiliary and institution, whether it be religious based or whatever. If you can't tell me why this man is being allowed to give a free pass with all the people that's gone, with all the disruption that didn't happen, he's not allowed. He's given a free pass with all the questionable facts about his ass and the shit that he's been called out on. If you can't explain that shit, then there's nothing to talk about. There's nothing to talk about. I don't know it may be a conversation with somebody else, but with me, there's nothing else to talk about. A lot of people want to hide behind religion. They want to hide behind certain stuff because that's what gives them that peace and that comfort. But like I've said before, Jesus didn't come to make friends with elites. He didn't come to make friends with those that were in power just because they were Sadducees and Pharisees or the Sanhedrin and all this other stuff. He didn't come to make friends with these folks. He didn't come to make friends with the money changers. He didn't come to make friends with all those people in power that was putting oppressive regime moves on the people at that time when Yahshua was here physically. Now, a person's belief system could change and be different. However, I respect it all, but at the same time, people need to understand they need to respect other people's way of how they perceive stuff and how they look at things, but when it comes to Yahshua, he didn't come to make no damn friends with all these fucking elite folks at that time. Matter of fact, he called them out. He called them hypocrites. Called them den of a synagogue of Satan, den of vipers. He called them all type of shit. He ran them out the he ran them out the temple, the money changers. Back in them days, they were no different than the bankers. Jesus wasn't sitting up here rubbing shoulders with these folks. So what the fuck is people doing out here, sitting up here constantly listening to this shit? Trying to ease over and go along and get along when these folks are taking a motherfucker down a path, and you talk about hell. What you think these folks went through once tyranny started to really erupt in a lot of areas in the country, in the world? What do you think they were going through? They damn sure wasn't going through no heavenly state. It was straight up hell. People were going through all that, and all people got to do is look in history. That's why they're saying if you don't appreciate or respect history or learn from history, you're doomed to repeat that shit. And as much as that statement has been around, it has not lost its relevance right now in 2022. So, with that, I'd just like to close it on down. And I'm looking hopeful for more revelations, more truth, more exposure of light onto the dark, so that shit that is continuing to be hid will continue to be revealed for what it is. But if you can't tell me why Dr. Anthony Fauci, the head of the pandemic health crisis, however you want to call it, the go-to guy, this is Sunday, so he was all on fucking Meet the Press and all that other bullshit. If you can't tell me why this man has got a pass from the American Congress, this, this includes the Republicans and Democrats who continue to go back and forth about shit. If you can't tell me why this man is still being able to be the mouthpiece after all the facts that have been dropped against him, there's nothing to talk about when it comes to any of this shit. That's just real talk. I don't care if you're black, you're white, you're Chinese, you're Asian, or whatever. Folks need to realize this shit ain't got really nothing to do, and I've said it before, it has nothing to do with your physical, racial preference. And all to do with humanity, control, deception. And eventually get more and more, and I said I was going to get into some history shit, and the next video I'm going to do will be on some history stuff, because there's a lot of stuff I've been going over. Some of the stuff blew my mind. It's like I never had enough time to really just sit back and look through some of the stuff, but then, as I do it, it's like some of this stuff is blowing my mind, because it's like, and it's information that's out here. It's like, it's out here. I mean, if it's just like you could Google, porn or any other little bullshit, you can Google this shit. And if Google or Bing is not working because they're on that big tech shit trying to keep stuff censored, then you can always go to DuckDuckGo, which is not a controlled browser where you can pull up shit. And of course, you will see the difference between that browser and Google, because that browser will automatically show stories and shit that Google or Bing or MSN, whatever, however other little shit they got out there, browsers and you won't see that shit on there. But you'll see it on DuckDuckGo. So with that, I'd just like to wish everyone a happy new year. And I'm a little fired up because, I can't help but be fired up, man. I hate seeing shit going like it is, and I hate seeing people being taken advantage of. And not even, just going with a program that they don't really understand that this shit is not meaning us no fucking good, and they want everybody to suffer behind this shit. The way they want this country is the way China is. It's too bad though. Everybody's still running around talking about, oh, the United States and China, man. You know, we'll take China. China is the enemy and all this other shit. But yet, all the countries are modeling how they want to do shit off of China. So you need. How does that work? Hold on 1 minute. Sorry about that. Damn. I gotta share this because it makes me wonder sometimes. One of the things that, and I learned this from my parents, and I have to give them all the respect due when it comes to that. I never knew how charitable my folks were. I knew they were charitable, but after them being taken out of here, I started to see in more detail and expanse how much their charity extended. And I've always wanted to try and have a little bit. I knew I couldn't meet their standard of being charitable because I just didn't have the resources. But I've always felt like, I have no issue with helping somebody else out when they need help. It's unfortunate that you have some people who try to take advantage of people's kindness, but that karma is what they build up on themselves. Your intent will always be rewarded. But since I've been doing the charity stuff, I've noticed that a lot of these charities, even charities I ain't never donated to or whatever, they just send you shit, they call you and all this stuff, and it makes me wonder sometimes, like, I want to do bigwigs, like people that's millionaires and billionaires, when they do donate something to one of these causes, do they get their phone blowed up, or do they get thousands of damn leaflets and stuff in their mail day after day? Because it's almost like everybody ain't got it like that to just be charitable all the time. I mean, it's like when they sending you shit every other week about, we need your help on this, we need your help. I want to do they send that shit to people who really got it like that? Or are they just sending this paperwork and making these calls? I don't know. That's just something. I don't know no millionaire, so I can't ask that question. But that's something I really, that's a big question. Like, damn, do people that got it, who are a little well off according to finances or whatever, when they give to a charitable cause, do their name get thrown out in the pot where all these different charities are sending them letters and this and that? You send, for example, if you donate to Habitat of Humanity, like I do, because I always think that and believe that everybody should have a house. There shouldn't be nobody out here homeless. This is all bullshit. But if everybody was re-educated and taught how to live according to divine principles like we are supposed to be, then it wouldn't be no issue. It wouldn't be no problem. Everybody would have a house, all that shit, and people would be able to have they would have the stability to take care of their shit like they should. And you will want, but also in a harmonious society, you got people that you can always count on, and they can count on you. But I always wonder about that, dealing with these charities and donating. So if you donate to Habitat to Humanity, and you know you've donated only to this charity, but yet you get in the mail 10, 20 leaflets or letters from other different charities dealing with hunger, food, or dealing with cars, clothes, however it is. So that means your name get put out there in a pool, saying, like, it's almost like, oh, he gave, so let's try and see if we can get some more money for this cause or that cause. But a lot of people who are suffering or struggling or whatever are charitable, and they do what they can, even though they don't have it like that, but they still look out and try and reach and try and make a difference. That just don't seem right when you constantly getting hit up with letters and shit like, damn, I just donated to these folks a couple weeks ago. Why are they calling me 2 weeks straight about a damn donation. Do y'all do the millionaires and billionaires like that? That's the big question. And I hopefully whoever comes across this video, maybe you can answer that. I don't know. Because I don't know any billionaires or millionaires personally to ask them, because if I did, I would ask them. Do you ever get a lot? Do you donate first to charity? And second, do you get a lot of shit in the mail? Or do you get a lot of calls, about donations and stuff from different groups? I don't know. But I'm going to leave that where it's at and sign off of here and leave each and every one of you all in peace and love. Wishing 2022 will be a transformative year, and that everyone continue to maintain a composure and stay safe and question everything. Peace.